Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Jaime Forinos, and I'm head of learning content at Google Cloud. I'm sitting right now in Google Cloud's headquarters in Sunnyvale, and I'm so excited to be here today to talk about generative AI. Um, this is one of the hottest topics in the tech right now, and it's only going to get bigger in years to come. I'm going to start by talking about the Innovators Plus program. This is a subscription that gives you access to a ton of benefits, including exclusive training credits, hands-on labs, and one-on-one consultations with Google Cloud experts. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. I'll then be sharing an interview with Guan that will be we recorded it last week. He's one of our champion innovators. Guan will share his story about how he used the Innovators Plus program to fast track his cloud career and develop his AI skills. And finally, we will have a 30-minute teaser training session on generative AI with one of my colleagues, Kidak Park. This is just a taste of the kind of training that's available to Innovators Plus subscribers. Finally, so whether you're just getting started with Gen AI or you're an experienced practitioner, I hope you will enjoy this session. And I hope you have a lot of fun today and learn a lot about this together. So it was in October last year, we launched Innovators Plus. This is the new annual subscription for developers to learn and build faster with Google Cloud. I'm very passionate about this offer because of the broad set of benefits that it includes. I'm a big believer in learning. I think nowadays, if you don't learn, you eventually become extinct. And whether it's cloud computing in general or more specifically Gen AI, you can find great ways to start your learning journey with us. Cloud-based generative AI is particularly powerful because it can scale to meet the needs of even the most demanding applications. And the importance, the power of these technologies and Gen AI are only going to grow in the years to come. Businesses that want to stay and people that want to stay ahead of the curve need to start learning about these technologies right now. And I'm just going to give a little bit more of information about the benefits of Innovators Plus and what they will bring you. So it's this offer that we launched last October. It's an annual subscription. It costs $299 a year, and it includes all of the range of benefits you see there. Access to over 700 hands-on labs from our Google Cloud Skills Plus platform, skill badges, and courses. But not only that, you also get $500 of cloud credits, a Google Cloud certification voucher. Getting certified is important, and it's just wonderful that within the benefits of the offer, you can actually get a voucher to get certified in any of the Google Cloud certifications we have. And not only that, if you actually pass the certification, you will get another $500 of cloud credits. You also get access to live learning events held by Google Cloud experts, quality technical briefings by our cloud executives, and this is one of my favorite benefits, one-on-one consultations with Google Cloud experts. So you get the chance to have a private session with a Google Cloud expert on the topic that you want. So if you add all of these different benefits together, it adds up to about $1,500 that you're getting with $299. So I find it a very enticing offer. But anyhow, just wanted to show, just not me saying that it's great. We have already some really great stories from subscribers of how they have used the benefits to fast track their cloud career, prepare for certification, learn new cloud skills, and build great projects with Google Cloud technologies. We also have examples like the one you see here on the screen from Randy, one of the first folks that got engaged in the subscription. The cloud credits I was talking about, they can be used for a variety of projects, from exploring new features to developing new products. Randy here used their credits to explore some new features on Dataplex, for instance, and they were able to learn a lot about the platform. Yes, and again, you don't have to take my word for it. I recently spoke with Wang. We had an offline interview, and we're going to show you this shortly. He's one of our Google Cloud champion innovators who specializes in AI, and he has some great advice on how you can make the most out of Innovator Plus benefits, which can basically help you progress your cloud career, grow your skills, and overall develop your AI capabilities. So let's take a look at the recording of the interview. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you located, and what is your current role?
Sure. My name is Wang. I'm located here in Singapore, and I currently work as a senior data scientist for Munich Re. I'm working on AI research and applications for the reinsurance industry.
Can you tell us about the different ways you're involved and what motivates you to give back?
Sure. I started my career as a machine learning and NLP developer, and I used open source packages like TensorFlow a lot. And it felt quite natural for me to start contributing projects, open source projects on GitHub. And it feels very great to getting started for your project and raise
Mhm.
issues and pull requests and mingle with the developer community. And in 2019, I became the Google developer expert in machine learning, and it was an amazing community of developers within the Google ecosystem. So for me, in the early days, I just do modeling locally and just train model on my laptop on my own workstation. But then very soon, I need to productionize my model. I need to deploy it. I need the MLOps. And then the data becomes bigger, and also with the large language models, the pre-trained models, the generative AI, all the things I just cannot do locally. So it felt quite obvious that I need to turn to cloud, to platforms like GCP. And yep, and I think GCP just helps me upskill myself constantly and stay relevant in this area.
Very glad to hear that, Guan. Now, um, something else that I'd like to ask you: how have you made the most of Innovators Plus benefits so far? Any particular benefits you recommend to others?
Right. So we get 500 GCP credits out of it. Actually, when you register for a Google Cloud account, you have 300 US dollar credits already. I think I wasted a couple of years ago just on the TPO pause that I want to try out the new technology. So if you do have that 500, try to make best use of it. I think for me, it will help me a lot to build some demos, for example, with the current generative AI offerings within the GCP Vertex AI offerings. I think the good thing about GCP is it offers really full stack technology from pre-trained models, data storage, to solution development, and eventually even model production and hosting, right? So using that credits to build a demo on the website with all that backend front end handled within GCP, I think that would be great. So my recommendation would actually for everyone to first try with the courses and the learning process, because you can have hands-on experience with a lot of the lab exercises already free of charge without using that credits. But then once you have some idea on what you want to build and the basic functionalities of GCP, you can just make best use of that $500 and start building something in your own context.
Nice. Very glad to hear that. Next question: what AI, ML, or data analytics scenarios do you focus on the most in your work? What are your favorite Google Cloud solutions within the AI, ML, and data categories, and why?
Right. I think there are several things I really love about GCP on the AI and machine learning perspective. The first one is the MLOps or machine learning operations support for the model production. Uh, Things like Vertex AI pipelines, the CI/CD for the machine learning lifecycle, especially if you're using TensorFlow, you're working on some unstructured data, it offers great solution around it. Secondly, I really, really like that responsible AI is built in for all the Vertex AI offerings, because for me, working in the insurance industry is really highly regulated, and responsible AI just to give me a high standards. For example, even for the large language models, it can help filter out the toxic information for input and output. So things like those will just enable me to try out my ideas without worrying too much about breaking any regulations. And finally, I'm just still exploring the newest generative AI studio offerings. I think it is fantastic so far. It also evolves so fast, but it quickly become one of my favorites offerings from GCP.
Right. Now, for those who are pursuing a career in cloud or looking to advance their skills, what are the skills or practices that are foundational to understand?
Right. I think there are some basic concepts that is common no matter what roles you are, like the basic concept of cloud, the cloud storage, the APIs. I guess those everyone needs to learn a bit. But then, depending on your role, there are actually a lot of different courses and different learning paths on GCP that can just help you achieve your goals, no matter if you're a software developer, you're backend or frontend, or if you're like a data engineer handling large data sets, or if you're a data scientist like me, just want to try out building some machine learning models or even leverage some of the pre-trained model APIs from GCP. I think Google just offers different learning paths that suits your need first. For me, I've just finished the new generative AI learning path from GCP, but it keeps evolving, right? The new courses are coming out now and then, so do keep an eye out on there. And I just can't wait to try it out with some of my ideas that were not feasible without those new technologies like generative AI, especially large language models like PaLM. I think it's a fundamental advancement that can change many aspects of our life, including our developers' daily work.
Thank you. And last question for today, Guan. What is next for you? Any final recommendations or closing thoughts for the cloud community?
Sure. I think technology just keeps advancing so fast and also keeps being so fun. And it just feels great to have some hands-on experience that is enabled by Google Cloud, right? And also the Innovators program. So I just would say, please keep learning, keep practicing, and keep building stuff. It's really great.
Agree with you. You should never stop learning. Thank you so much, Guan, for joining us today. It was fantastic to have you with us. I really appreciate you sharing your thoughts and tips. I'm very sure that the whole cloud community will appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I hope you liked the session, the little interview with Guan. I like his last lines when he was mentioning keep learning, keep practicing, and keep on doing amazing stuff. Great ways to close that interview. The next section of today's event is going to be a special treat for our Innovators Plus subscribers. We're going to be joined by Kitak, one of my colleagues. He's an expert in AI, and he's going to be giving us a live training on Gen AI. This is a great opportunity to learn about this cutting edge technology, and there will be a chance as well to ask some questions at the end. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the next, I would say, 30 minutes or so. Over to you, Kitak.
Thank you, Jaime. So sit back and relax, and we're going to have about half an hour training on generative AI. Again, my name is Kitek Park. I'm a lead instructor at Google Cloud. Very difficult name, Kitek Park, Kitek. It sounds like key technology. I'm an engineer, I'm a technical trainer, and today I want to talk about generative AI. So with that, so today we have two topics. Number one, I'm going to explain what generative AI is. A lot of people talk about generative AI everywhere. I just want to make sure that we have a correct understanding of what generative AI is. And then after that, I'm going to introduce some of the Google Cloud Gen AI products. So later you can play around with this product and also apply that to your business needs. So first, what is generative AI? Everyone talks about Gen AI nowadays, and what is it? Well, Gen AI is a subset of deep learning. So you have generative AI, deep learning, and then machine learning. Right? Today we have almost 100 people. Perhaps many of you already have some experience in ML. You may have a knowledge. You may have PhD in ML. You may be a data scientist. But some of you, it may be new to you, right? You may not know what deep learning is. You may not know what machine learning is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend about 3 to 5 minutes to explain about some of the key terminologies. So in order to understand Gen AI, you first need to understand machine learning, right? You need to understand what training is. You need to understand what prediction is, or classification, deep neural network, deep learning and parameter. So I'm going to spend about 3 to 5 minutes, just to set the level, just to make sure that we speak the same language. And then I'm going to move on to generative AI. So in order to explain these technical concepts, let me just bring a simulation. So we have a simulation called TensorFlow Playground. And I'm going to use this tool to explain some of the key concepts. So here's the example. Here on the right, you can see a data space. So here we have data, right? We have data in orange. Let me just make it a little bit bigger. We have data in orange. We have data in blue. Now, what we want to do is we want to classify this data. So what we can do is we can create something called a neural network. So here we have X1 and X2. So X1 cuts this space like vertically, X2 horizontally, right? And we are going to train this model. We are going to train this neural network and create a model. And basically what happens behind the scene is it's going to update the weight. We call that a parameter. We are going to update this parameter and create this model. And then we can classify these data sets. That's basically how it works. For those of you who are new, this can be a little complex. So let me just bring another example to explain this concept again. So we need a neural network, and we need to create a model, and we call that a training. So here we have more complex data. As you can see, on the middle, we have blue data point, and then we have orange data point outside. And using neural network, I want to train the model, right? So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce X1, which cuts the space vertically, X2, which cuts the space horizontally, and I'm going to train the model. And if I train the model, it's going to update the parameter, which is called weight here. It's going to update the parameter, and then it's going to classify this data space. It's not working, right? We have a very complex data set here, so I cannot classify that with this model. So I need more complex model. So what I can do is I can introduce more layers and then more neurons. So here, a little square, we call that a neurons. And we call this a neural network, right? So I can introduce more neurons and more layers and more parameters. So here, the arrow, the lines are parameters. So I can introduce more parameters, more layers, more neurons, and make more complex model here. And if I do that, and if I go through the training, and there we go. Now we can classify this data set. So if you have like more complex data, then of course you need more layers, right? And more neurons. Right? Now my model became very complex. I have multiple layers. It's very deep, right? So we call this a deep neural network. And if you leverage this deep neural network, we call that a deep learning. Okay. So we went through the training process. So you'll go through multiple iterations of training, and it will update parameter. Right? So for example, let me just try that. So if I go through the training, as you can see, this time is minus 0.14. But if I train a little bit more, then it's going to be updated to 0.13, right? So the parameter will get updated, and then it will create a model. And we call this process a training. Okay. One more thing before we move on to Gen AI. So now you have created this model. And then in the traditional machine learning, now you need to ask a question. So for example, here, I'm sure that you can see my pointer, which is in red. So you have this trained model, and then you bring a new data. Let's say here, you can follow my pointer here. So if I bring a new data and then ask a machine a question, hey machine, what color is my data? And then machine will say, oh, that's orange, right? Because my pointer is here on the bottom left, right? But if I bring a new data point, like top right, and then ask question, hey machine, what color is my data? And in this scenario, the machine will say, oh, that's blue, right? Based on this model, now it will give you the answer, and we call that a prediction or inference. So So these are some of the key terminologies that you may want to understand in order to understand Gen AI. Training, prediction, classification, deep neural network, deep learning, and parameter. We do have some other terminologies, foundation model and PARM, pathways language model, and I'm going to introduce that later on. Okay? So with this understanding, let's move forward a little bit. So in the traditional machine learning model, we call that discriminative. For this example, you can categorize this data, right? You can classify this data. So on the right is green, on the left is orange, right? And then in the prediction stage, you introduce the new data and ask question, right? Hey, machine, what color is this data, right? And then machine will say, oh, that's orange, right? Let's say, follow my pointer, right? You bring a new data point here and then ask question, like, hey, machine, what color is my data? And then machine will say, oh, that's green, right? So that's the discriminative model, which we used for a long time. Now we have a new technology, which is generative AI. This time, it's slightly different. So in this data set, now we are asking a slightly different question. This time, we are asking machine to generate a new data point. So it already has this probability model trained. So from the pre-trained model, now the machine can generate orange data point. Or from this pre-trained model, now it can generate a green data point. So now we ask a slightly different question. And in the Gen AI, machine can generate data for us. So that's slightly different, right? So let me just repeat this one more time, right? Make sure that we have the same understanding. So again, previously, discriminative model, we train the model first, right? And then we ask question. So we bring the image of a dog to a machine and ask question. Hey, machine, what is this, right? And based on the pre-trained model, the machine will say, oh, that's a dog, right? It can classify the image either dog or a cat. Right? But whereas in the generative AI, we ask a slightly different question to a pre-trained model. This time we ask, hey machine, can you generate an image of a dog? Right? And then machine will provide us the image of a dog. Right? So slightly different question, right? So with that, in order to use generative AI, what we need is a foundation model, a pre-trained model. Right? So we call that a foundation model in Gen AI. And this model can be slightly different from what we have used before. In the traditional ML, of course, the complex the better, but typically like anyone can train the model. Right? If you have data, then you can buy GPU, CPU, TPU, and then you can create a model. Not very difficult, right? You can just create a model and then use it. Whereas for Gen AI, you need to have huge data to leverage this Gen AI technology, right? So it can be really challenging to create this foundation model in your organization. So not many organizations can create this foundation model, right? Because it's huge. It has a huge parameters. One of the example is from Google. So we, Google, have created a huge foundation model, right? We have a lot of resources, we have data, so we were able to create a foundation model. And one of the model is called a PARM, and it has a lot of parameters. So let me just bring one of the blog posts here. So we, Google, created this pre-trained model, foundation model, and that is called a PARM, P-A-R-M. And then it has 540 billion parameters, right? 540 billion, that's huge, right? So we have this huge foundation model, and then from there, now you can generate a new data points there. So here, using this foundation model, we can generate text, we can also generate code, and we can also generate images as well. So the great example of this is a BARD, right? B-A-R-D. BARD can generate text and code, and it can interact with you very well. So, for example, like Bard, the input will be a text, right? You ask about a question, right? Can you translate this text? Or can you summarize this text? Or you ask question, right? And then Bard can respond using a text, right? It will give you a text response. Or you put an input and then the output can be an image, right? Can you generate an image of a dog? Right? Can you generate an image of a cat? You can also do that. You can also put text as an input. Like, can you generate the audio? You can also do that. There are many different types of the outputs. You can also take image as an input. So you give the image, and then the machine can provide like image captioning, or it can also do image search. The great example is Google Lens. Right? When you want to search at Google, you can also use the image to search from Google as well. That's Google Lens, right? And then you can also modify the image. A great example comes from Google Photos, right? You take a photo, and then you can ask Gen AI to remove the background, right? And then it will modify that for you. Right? So you can put an image as an input, or you can also put the text as an input. And then there can be various outputs there. Let me just give you one more example of Gen AI, is this one. So for example, let's say you have a sentence like, I'm making a sandwich with peanut butter and, right? And then this pre-trained model, Gen AI model, will have a list of the candidates, and then it will provide you a recommendation. So it's very similar to like autocomplete. Right? In Google search, you have this autocomplete. Right? It will give you suggestions, or Gmail or Google Doc. We already have that feature. Autocomplete is typically like one word, but you can extend that to a sentence or a long text, and that becomes a Bard. A very similar technology. So now what we see is we see a huge opportunity. This Gen AI can be applied to many different industries and many different applications. So for example, data analysts can improve their analytic skills by leveraging Gen AI. It's much easier to analyze data. And also another example would be chatbot applications. So like online interaction can be much easier using this chatbot application. And it works very well. We do have many best practices on that as well. And then we can also generate the content as mentioned earlier, right? You can generate the image of a dog or image of a cat, right? So it can be very creative. And lastly, I think this is one of the most important opportunities, especially in the cloud, is that you can customize or fine-tune the foundation model. Right? So I'm going to talk about that later again, but basically, for example, like Bard, you can ask questions and get answer, but you cannot fine-tune the foundation model, right? It's there, it's sitting there, right? But at Google Cloud, we give you an opportunity to fine-tune the model to meet your business need. So I'm going to explain some of the products that we have under the umbrella of Google Cloud, and then also show you some demos. Right, so let me just repeat again. Under the umbrella of Google, we have a product called a Bard, right? And Bard allows you to interact with machine, right, using Gen AI. Right? But as mentioned earlier, in the business world, in the enterprises or companies, you may want to fine-tune the model, right? Or you may want to better control your data. Right? So you might want to have a little bit more flexibility, and you may want to have a little bit more control. Right? So under the umbrella of Google Cloud, we provide this feature through the product called a Vertex AI. So using Vertex AI, again, you can generate text, generate code. You can do many different things that we have introduced earlier with a little bit more flexibility. So let me just share you a little architecture of this Vertex AI product. So I'm assuming that you are a Google Cloud user. You know about GCP, right? So in GCP, you will have your data, you will have your content. Right? And a lot of our customers are concerned when they use this Gen AI, because they are worried that their input data might train the foundation model. But in Google Cloud, that's not going to happen. As you can see on the right, here we have a foundation model. We have a large base model. And as you can see, this is frozen. So we have this pre-trained model sitting inside Google, and that is frozen. You can provide the input, but that's not going to change. That's not going to impact the foundation model. Whenever you provide the input, that's going to create something called a data layer. Right? And then that will be customized or fine-tuned for you. So you can ask a lot of questions, still okay. It will update a data layer, right? And then later, when you interact with Gen AI, you will have this adapter layer, you will have this foundation model, and then it will provide you an insight. It will provide you the answer. So you don't have to worry about you feeding the data into the foundation model. You will have your own customized adapter layer, and then through that, you can fine-tune your model based on your business need. So for example, let's say in your company, you have very specific terms and jargons, right? Some terminologies that is used only within your company. Then you can provide that information to this adapter layer, and then it will be the model only for you. Right? So this is the architecture of Gen AI in the enterprise environment. So again, we are going to use GCP, and then we are going to provide you a data layer. So from that architecture, we provide many different products. Right? So as mentioned earlier, we have this Vertex AI, and under the umbrella of Vertex AI, we have Model Garden, we have Gen AI Studio, we have Gen AI APIs. So basically, Model Garden provides you a foundation models, as mentioned earlier. So let me just show you a demo, because if I talk using the slide, it can be a little boring, right? I already spent about 20 minutes on this. So let me just show you a demo of Model Garden. So this is GCP UI, just for those of you who are new to Google Cloud. This is Google Cloud. Right? So here, I go to menu. And as you can see, we have many different products. And this time, I want to go to Vertex AI. Right? So this is Vertex AI. Right? As you can see, there are many different options available. And here, I want to show you the demo of Model Garden. And if I click that, as you can see, there are many different foundation models, like Palm 2, as mentioned earlier. 2 is updated version. Right? There are many different models available, and you can leverage this foundation model and then use it for your business need. So we have models for languages, we have models for vision, models for table data. We have so many foundation models prepared for you. So from this garden, this Model Garden, you can pick one of the model and then use it for your business need. And we also have a product called Generative AI Studio, and it allows you to fine-tune this foundation model. And later, I'm also going to show you a demo of this Generative AI Studio. This is for like AI practitioners, like data scientists or ML engineers. But for those of you who are new to this machine learning and Gen AI, we have a product for you as well. Like if you're a developer or if you're a data engineer, maybe you don't want to learn about like all this machine learning stuff. Right? In that scenario, you can use something called Generative AI App Builder, right? And by using this, you can create something like a chatbot or a search service. So for example, here we have something called conversational AI, and that allows you to create a chatbot, and enterprise search allows you to create the search system within your organization. For those of you who do not have a technical background, but if you still want to use Gen AI, then we also have many different products prepared for you, like Document AI. So let's say if you have a documentation, you can just take a picture and then upload it, and then you can just read and understand the text. Or you can use Contact Center AI to create like a chatbot applications. We have Healthcare AI. We have Discovery AI. We have many different products ready for those who do not have a technical background. So we have many different products ready, right? So let me just dive deep a little bit into some of the products. So for example, like enterprise search. So this is basically bringing a search capability to your organization. So for example, let's say under the umbrella of your organization, let's say you have like thousands of legal documentation. You have like thousands of legal documentation, and you want to find the information from that documents. It's huge, right? You have like thousands of documents, and then you need to find the information. That's very hard, right? If it is not limited to your organization, then you can just search it Google, right? You go to google.com and find information. But if you have information sitting inside this document, then it's really difficult to find that. In that scenario, you can use enterprise search. So you upload all your documents to a storage, and then Gen AI can help you to find information you need. So using this enterprise search, Gen AI can find the information, and it can also summarize the information for you. So it's basically bringing Google search capability to your organization. So that's one of the product we have. Another one is conversational AI. So basically, this is a chatbot application, right? A lot of users and customers may have a lot of questions about your product and services, right? In that scenario, you can create this chatbot application and then respond to the customer's query. And basically, you can customize your chatbot application using this conversational AI. So it's basically bringing a Bard to your chatbot application. We have Model Garden. I think I already showed you the demo, right? So we have many different foundation model, and then you can just grab one and then use it for your business case. And then the last one is Generative AI Studio. And this allows you to fine-tune your models and then create application for your business need. So let me just show you a demo of a Generative AI Studio, and I will wrap up my presentation. So this time, I want to go to Generative AI Studio here. Click Overview. And as you can see, we have language and speech. Let me just make it a little bit bigger here. And in this demo, I want to try with the language. Right, so I open up this. And then there we go. Here, there are many different options. I can tune a model. I can start a conversation. I can design and test the prompt. So I'm going to demo with this feature here. So for example, a code prompt. Right? So if you click it, then here, what you can do is you can generate code. So if you're a developer, if you're a software engineer, then you can generate the code using this feature here. So let me just bring one example here. So for example, let's say, write me a code to calculate BMI. Right? And you just give this order and then click submit. And then there we go, right? So this Gen AI provides you some logics to calculate BMI. Sometimes it may not be like 100% correct, right? In that scenario, you can read this code and then change it a little bit, right? Fix it a little bit to meet your needs. So that was one example. And we also have a text example here as well. So text prompt, you click it. And then there we go. Right? So here, you can just ask any questions here like you did earlier. So for example, like you want a recipe, right? You want to know how to cook a fried shrimp fried rice. So you can just ask that question and it will give you a recipe. So this is very similar to Bard. Right? But this is a Google Cloud product. So here what we want to do is we want to fine-tune this model. The Bard, you cannot fine-tune the model. But here, yes, you can. So here what we can do is, let's say, go to structured. And then here, you need to provide a context, right? You are fine-tuning your model, so you need to provide some additional information that the foundation model may not have. Right? So for this example, I'm going to grab information from this website, Google Cloud Innovators Plus website. So here, what I need to do is I need to provide a context. So I'm going to copy and paste this text here as a context, right? And here, you need to provide some questions and answers here, right? In this example, right? You need to fine-tune your model. You need to train the model a little bit. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab data from this FAQ, right? And then feed that into this example. Right? So for example, who is eligible for Innovator Plus? Right? And in the website, I have the answer, so I'm just going to copy and paste that. Another question is like, what are the benefits of subscribing? Right? Again, I'm going to grab an answer from the website and then just paste that. In the Q&A, in the FAQ, we also have questions about the pricing. Right? Then I can also copy and paste that. And lastly, we also had questions about access. Right? And then I can just provide that answer there as well. Right? So I just copied and paste from this FAQ, right? And then I need to save this model, right? So hit save. And I'm just gonna write demo YouTube live, right? And then hit save. And wait for a few seconds and done, there we go, right? So I have now fine-tuned the model. So this model will have an information about the Innovators Plus program, right? So for example, if I ask a question like what benefit, let me just make it a little bit bigger. What benefits can I get from Innovators Plus program? And if I hit submit, then now it will provide me more information about this Innovator Plus program. Right? And for example, another query here, like who teaches at the Innovator Plus program? And if I hit submit, then it will say like Google Cloud experts and execs. Right? But let me just customize this a little bit more. Right? So here, let's say I add extra question and saying like, who is the trainer? And I'll just provide my name there. A little embarrassing, but because foundation model does not have information about me. Right? So I provide this additional information and then hit save. And then I ask the same question again, who teaches at the Innovators Plus program? Hit submit. Okay, this is live demo. So it's not, let me just try this again. Who teaches at Innovator Plus program? I hope this works this time. There we go, right? Now it says like Keytech Park, right? It got the information from the previous information that I submitted, right? So long story short here, what I'm trying to explain is that using this generative AI studio, you can fine tune the model, right? Fit your business information and then leverage for your business needs. So I think my time's up. I spent about 30 minutes on this presentation, and I believe that you have a lot of questions here. So later I will answer to some of the questions. And back to you, Jaime.
Great. Thank you so much, Kirak, for the session. That was amazing. Thanks for that teaser. I hope the viewers enjoyed it as much as I did. We have a few questions, both questions that came in online right now live as we were speaking, as well as a couple of pre-seeded questions people were asking them in the last couple of weeks while we were waiting for the event to happen. So I'm just going to share I'll start with a couple of questions that we had previously recorded from some folks. Oh, sorry, before that, I just want to also mention more resources on the topic, right? So these are very good links for you to be aware of, to save and be familiar with, whether it's the Google Cloud community. It's a platform for anybody to join, and you will get access to different people forums that you are able to ask questions, answer other people's questions, get access to content and blogs that we write. We also have the opportunity to get feedback from you, so you can use that link to provide feedback. And we will having a couple of events coming up in the next couple of weeks on different topics that you see on the screen. So I highly recommend you to join these events. Good. So let's move to Q&A, and let's start with just a couple of simple questions that came on offline. Which training courses are available through Innovators Plus, and does Innovators Plus subscription have access to use the AI? Well, yes, through Innovators Plus, as I mentioned before, you get access to the whole catalog of courses, labs, as well as all of the other additional benefits that go beyond the normal monthly subscription. So you can attend live events, you get access to all of the certifications to choose one from, and the cloud credits. And yes, the Innovators Plus subscription will offer you training on AI, and with the credits, you will be able to put forward them to use them for AI workloads. Yes, and also good to mention, if you're interested in early access to the new Google Cloud Gen AI products, you can join a Cloud AI Trusted Tester program. There's a link that we will provide. Right now, we have a wait list, but it's a great opportunity to test and be part of the cohort of trusted testers. There's a next question is around how can Gen AI help with automating day-to-day tasks in cloud operations? Maybe Kitak, that's a good question for you.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a great question, especially like tasks in cloud operations. There can be many different applications, and one of the things that I can think about is finding information. So I also operated the cloud, but sometimes you see an error, you see an issue, and it's really difficult to find that information, right? But with the help of Gen AI, you can easily find information and then fix the issue whenever you face an issue. So that's one thing. And another thing is about pricing your consumptions. Machine learning can help you to forecast that and then optimize your resources and pricing. So that's an example that I can think about right now. And the real world use cases for Gen AI is still at the very early stage, but one of the great real case will be a search, right? So go to like Google, use Bard, you can easily find information. And we also have some customers leveraging Gen AI, like fast food chain, right? They were able to increase the efficiency of the ordering system, and then things like that. So we see more and more use cases coming up. So stay tuned, and I hope it can help your business thrive.
Next question, can companies purchase Innovators Plus for their entire employee bases? And then is this training available to startups that have received free credits from Google Startup Accelerator program? That's a fantastic program we have. Well, currently the program Innovators Plus is designed for individual developers only. And the subscription is just available for individuals to purchase. And in terms of what moment to start a subscription, any individual can start the subscription at any stage. If you visit our Innovators Plus link, you can see again all the benefits, eligibility requirements, and the cost. Let's see. How will AI change developer work in the future? It's an interesting question. Kitak, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. As you have seen earlier, it can generate code. Right? So I don't think it's going to replace like software, like everything that you do, but it can definitely help you to write code. Right? So you can generate the code, and then from that response, you can edit and make an update, and then use it for your code applications. And then for the integration Gen AI with AppSheet, we have something called Duet AI, and that will allow you to work with the AppSheet.
Great. So I'm going to go now ahead with a couple of the live questions, and I'm going to show this one on the screen. And it's about, can you explain transformer architecture? I think there was a comment in the comment section about a specific course. It's the Transformers course that was recently launched about, I would say, 2-3 weeks ago. I don't know if Kitek, if you want to add anything to that.
No, I think that training is fantastic. So that would be the place to go.
Okay, great. There's a very interesting question here, and from Blockheadholism, and they mentioned, am I wrong to think that a prompt-driven cloud is only a few years away and will make these cloud certifications obsolete? I like the question because of the lot of thinking and different possible scenarios that this can take, right? So I'll share my opinion, and Kira, you can also chime in if you want. My take is while Gen AI can perform a wide variety of tasks, including generating human-like text, for instance, they don't, at least today, they don't replace the need for specialized knowledge and experts in cloud technology. Certifications, our cloud certifications, provide a really structured education and demonstrate proficiency in specific areas of study or skills. They can validate student learners' understanding of fundamental concepts, programming languages, data structures, software engineering principles, architecture that could not be replaced. So yeah, these models can be very powerful tools for many tasks, but the level of critical thinking that humans have, I don't think it can be replaced. So yeah, I see certification still going beyond the abilities of these AI models. They provide a comprehensive, a deep understanding of the principles and concepts of cloud technologies. Now, having said that, I also think that as tech continues to evolve, certifications will probably have to adapt to incorporate new developments and emerging technologies to ensure that the professionals, the people like all of you, stay on top of things and stay relevant. But so my take, Kitak, I don't know if you would like to add anything to that.
No, nothing much. 100% with you.
Okay, let's see. There's another question here from Anshuman Mishra. How Gen AI in Google Cloud KDS is being scaled for arbitrary large language models hierarchy of various file length with a constant JSON JavaScript function for distributed Cloud Shell. I think definitely this one will go to you, Kitak.
Yes, I'm not sure if I have understood your questions, but basically right now, under the umbrella of Google Cloud, we have Google Kubernetes Engine. So here you say K8S, that's Kubernetes, right? That's open source. In Google, we have Google Kubernetes Engine, that is a managed service. And already it auto scales, right, based on the demand. And LLM, large language models, can definitely help you to better manage your resources. And one of the examples can be like, right now you need to write a YAML file, right, to manage that. It can help you to write those code. So definitely, I believe there will be an opportunity as moving forward.
Great, thanks, Kitak. Move to the next one. Do you have one place for all of the Innovator trainings like this? So this one in particular will be made available on YouTube. I need to double check whether it actually will be part as well of the Innovator Plus platform, but definitely you will be able to see it on YouTube. And there's another question. Can we access the previous trainings or recordings? Well, any recording like this one will be available on YouTube, and trainings mentioned, like the ones that are part of the Innovators Plus program, will be available on the Innovators Plus platform. Another great question coming from, hold on, Harshal Shukal. Is there a way to become a Google Cloud Champion Innovator? Yes, there's a way. There's a link you can access, and we will share that after this session. And let me see. I'm just checking if there are any other questions. Oh, and Justin just mentioned, yes, it requires, the process requires a nomination and interview process. And yeah, thank you, Justin, for sharing the link on the thread. Oh, there's another question that came offline: how to use the large language model custom models on Vertex AI?
Yeah, I think I can take that. Like one of the products you can use is, of course, Generative AI Studio, and it's the demo that I showed you earlier. And using that, you can use LLM custom models because you can fine-tune the model.
Great. And I see another question coming in from Debashish Bashkar about the possibility of Gen AI to leverage the dynamic prediction of Earth's orbital drifting. I am not going to take that.
Me neither. Like, I don't have much knowledge in terms of that specific area or application. So, like, I cannot answer to that question. But I'm sure that there will be a huge opportunity whenever we leverage AI, and it's not limited to IT sector, but it can be applied to retail, finance, and every industry.
Great. Let's see. Oh, and then Tabashi's also mentioned about oceanic surface drifting, including live scene capture. I think our answer doesn't change. We can look into it and see what we can find out. Good. And let's see. How will AI behave in a small data set? Kitak, I think this one is for you as well.
So if the question is about Gen AI, and as mentioned earlier, we have this foundation model, which is a big model. And then you as a business user can fine tune the model. We have this adapter layer, right? So you can provide a small data set, like the example I showed you earlier, and then you can fine tune the model. So if the question is about Gen AI, then you can fine tune and customize the Gen AI model for your business need. And if it is a question about like general machine learning model, then for the small data set, of course, you'll get a less accurate result. So that is not recommended.
I'll have this question: can I use generative AI for form recognition?
Again, I'll take that. In my previous slide, I think I briefly mentioned about Document AI. And Document AI is the product that can help you to recognize the forms. So I want to recommend using that.
Great. There's another question just came from RI to Teddy. Can we create a product recommendation engine that is based solely on a large language model?
Right. Yeah. I think in the future there will be huge opportunities there. But again, LLM or Gen AI is a platform that we provide, and from there you can fine tune the model and then use it for your business needs. So if you have a need for recommendation engine, perhaps you can leverage Vertex AI to create the recommendation engine.
Great, thanks, Kitak. And maybe just space for one last question. If I can't, no, I'm not sure if we have one more question or not. How to leverage Gen AI in ERP software and application?
So for that question, I believe there is a huge opportunities. And one of the features that I can think about is conversational AI, right? So basically, ERP, we are grabbing information and providing that to the users. And conversation AI, chatbot application, can definitely help organize the information and then make it accessible to many users. And in the past, we have seen similar demands and similar applications. So in the future, I believe that can be one of the features that can be embedded into the ERP software. And of course, there are many other opportunities as well.
Great. Thanks for that, Kitak. And with this, I think we can close today's session. It was wonderful to be here with all of you and give you a little taste of Gen AI and what you can achieve. Give you a little bit of sneak peek into Innovators Plus, all the benefits that you can get if you decide to become a subscriber, how to become a champion. And thank you, Kitek, for joining and sharing your knowledge. It was great having you. And I wish everybody a great rest of Thursday.
Thank you very much.